She wasn't very bright, but she was never any trouble. I see her sometimes. At the Treasure Island supermarket. She gives no trouble today either. She has the same smile for everyone.
There isn't a thing you don't want that isn't in this store. From soda pop to a genuine pearl and a can of oysters. And I know the code for everyone. On the register is a little booklet with all the codes. That's for the part-time girls. I never look at it. You got your green grapes 40-22 and your reds is 40-23. You got your Granny Smith 17, Australia table 12. I tell you it just comes to me. I got my right hand ready on the register. Use my left to scan the groceries. And when I feel you with all the flowers or the fruit, I never have to look at the keys. Please, I'm just moving. I'm just moving. Way more fun than some high-techer working at the checker and moving. Any pause? When I got out of high school, way back when, didn't want a secretary job. I heard the grocery calling me, then and I still love it to work it hard. You see these part-time girls work slow all week, and Friday night go dancing for their kicks. But here is where I'm dancing, and my mood will be enhancing. My even coming days of you sick and quick. I'm just moving. I'm just moving. Way more fun than some high-techer working at the checker and moving. Well, sure, my feet get tired, got my aches and pains from the time I was 18. I had varicose veins, but I put on my support those in my Dr. Soul shoes. It'll down to Treasure Island, dance away my blues. I'm just moving. No, I don't want no office, no siree. Give me the grocery, no matter how hectic it gets. I'll be moving. And the Treasure Island paper or plastic?
Hey Jim, how about a break?
A break? Pancha, you gotta break the day we're hired.
Are you here? What's your name?
Teresa.
Well, I'm Pam, but everybody calls me Babe. I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. Did you hurry and bag this? You wait your time, and I'll give you my full, undivided attention. You rush, and you're gonna get nothing.
You walk through the door and the music starts playing. Everything looks pretty. Everything is fresh and nice. You're not aware that in the back room it stinks. And there's crates all over and people yelling at each other. They play music over the loudspeakers so you'll relax while you shop. They play Guantana Manera. It's the Cuban Revolution song. Nobody pays any attention to the music. They go shopping and hit their kids and blame us for the high prices.
Whoa. You put the lettuce on top.
Sorry, ma'am.
You're teaching people about produce.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's just lettuce costs so much these days.
I used to pick lettuce. According to my mother, I was born on a cotton sack out in the fields because we had no money to go to a hospital. We used to migrate from California to Arizona and back and forth and back and forth. The things I saw, they shaped my life. I started picking crops when I was 8. I couldn't do much, but every little bit counts. Whenever I would get behind in my chores, I would get a carrot thrown at me by my parents. But I would daydream. I would picture my mom living in one place all the time and being admired by everyone in the community. All of a sudden, I'd be rudely awakened by a broken carrot in my bag. Perdidas en las palabras que el viento me trae, un día mejor vendrá. After my dad died, my mom would go into her tent and we would go into one for the kids and we would roughhouse and everything. And then I'd go into her tent and I'd see her crying. When I asked her why she was crying, she never gave me an answer. All she said was things would get better. But that day she thought would be better, it never came for her. ¿Dónde se ha ido mi vida? ¿Dónde se ha ido mi juventud? Perdidas en las palabras que el viento me trae, un día mejor vendrá. Un mejor día vendrá. Un mejor día vendrá. Cuando Dios a los pobres un lugar dará. People could see in the winter ice on the fields, in the summer picking watermelons in 105 degrees. When people have lettuce or melons or cucumbers or carrots, they don't know how they got on their table. If I had enough money, I would take busloads of people out onto the farms and into the labor camps. Then they would know how that fine salad got on their table.
UPS!
You could have said something earlier instead of just jumping up and yelling UPS.
Sorry.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You gotta be excited for yourself, you know? Lizzie! Lizzie! I've been once already. By a Doberman. That's the biggest part of a dog's day, when the UPS man comes. I had one house where I was trying to make friends with the dog. It was a schnauzer or some little darn thing. I started to walk away because it was just bugging its little head off. And it just fell over on its side. I thought it had a heart attack. The lady says he usually relapses from barking too much. I usually hit him on the head with a clipboard. And they'll say, why'd you hit it? The dog wasn't gonna hurt you. And I'll say, lady, it's jumping on me. It's scratching me. So when nobody's looking, you kick it down the street. Even if it just follows you. You try to get it for the one you missed a couple houses back. Yeah, that's the big subject of conversation with us. Dogs. And women. You see a nice looking babe? That kind brightens your day. We have a code we put on the sheet. We put a Q. That stands for cute. See a nice looking honey laying there in her backyard in a two-piece bathing suit. She'll be lying there on her stomach with the top strap undone. If you go there and you scare her good enough, she'll jump up. Scare them when they jump up, so you'll be able to see them better. This takes time. And it gives you something to do. It adds excitement to your day. UPS!
Work? Oh. No, I don't work. Well, I mean, yes, I work, but I don't have a job. I mean, well, what I do really only matters to 3 people. All I am is just a housewife, nothing special, nothing great. What I do is kind of boring. If you'd rather Do the laundry, wash the dishes, take the dog out, clean the house, shop for groceries, look for specials, cotton sound so, Mickey Mouse, drop the kids off, pick their shirts up, try to lose weight, try again, keep the troops fed, pick their things up, use your patience, count to 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All I am is just a housewife, just a housewife, nothing great. What I do is out of fashion, what I feel is out of date. All I am is someone's mother, right away I'm not too bright. What I do is unfulfilling, so the TV talk shows tell me every night. I don't mean to complain at all, but they make you feel like you're too big and you're just the one. Just a housewife. All I see on the pots and pans and the Pepsi cans and the cars flying. You're a whiz if you go to work, but you're just a jerk if you say you won't. Just a housewife. People say that they think it's fine if the choice is mine, but you know they don't. What I do, what I choose to do, may be dumb to you, but it's not to me. Is it dumb that they need me there? Is it dumb to care? 'Cause I do, you see. And I mean, did you ever think, really stop and think what a job it was? Doing all the things that a housewife does. I'm afraid it's unimpressive. All I am is someone's mother, nothing special. What I do is unexciting, kinda dull. Take the kids here, take the kids there. I don't need to complain. All I am is busy, busy every day. All I am is like my mother. All I am is just a housewife.
I didn't want to become a housewife like my mother and sisters. I think I've always known that I wanted more out of life. I was 15. I was sitting in a coffee shop when a friend came by and said, "Hurry up, I've got a cab waiting. You can make $100 in 20 minutes." We went to a penthouse. The guy up there was quite well known. He wanted to watch two women do it, then he wanted to have sex with me. It was barely sex. He was almost finished by the time we started. It was a tremendous kick. There I was, doing nothing, feeling nothing, and 20 minutes later, I would walk out with $100 in my pocket. Just out of curiosity, how many of you could make $100 for 20 minutes work? And I was still in high school.
I think of myself as an upper-class working girl. The press calls me a socialite, which is just another name for a well-dressed fundraiser. I began in the 80s. I gave a party for Nicaraguan refugee children. It wasn't for the contrast, although I'm sure that would have been fun too. But fundraising is work. It's hard to separate people from their money.
It's a marketplace transaction. Somehow, I was able to absorb that when I was quite young. I was a precocious child. Actually, I was sort of lonely. I didn't experience myself as being attractive. I didn't look like a Calvin Klein ad. I was bright. I didn't play by the rules. Guys were mostly scared of me. They didn't want to get involved emotionally, but they did want to do me. For a while, I was willing to accept that, the feeling intimacy, feeling warm.
driving through New York in a limousine during a hotel strike, and there was nowhere to go. And I thought, now I know what it feels like to be a bag lady. But you can't bring home every homeless person you see. But if you can say something entertaining, you can bring a light into their eyes. Maybe that's what the word socialite means.
You become your job. I've become a hustler. Even when I'm not hustling, I'm a hustler. What you do is what you are. I don't think it's different from people who work on an assembly line 40 hours a week and come home cut off, numb. People aren't built to switch on and off like water faucets.
I work in a luggage factory. We make suitcases. The tank I work at is 6 foot deep by 8 foot square. In 40 seconds, you have to take the wet felt out of the filter, put the blanket on to draw out the excess moisture. With 2-3 seconds, take the blanket off. Pick the wet piece up and balance it on your shoulder. Reach over, get the hose, spray the inside of this copper screen. Turn around. Walk to the hot, dry dye behind you. Take the hot piece off and set it on the floor. Put the wet piece on the hot dye. Push this button. Inspect the piece we just took off. Stack it and count it. 40 seconds. In the summertime, the temperature at my workstation ranges from 100 to 150 degrees. I've taken thermometers and checked it out. I have arthritis in the joints of my fingers. Naturally, in the shoulder carrying the wet piece. The hose will sometimes leak and spray back on you. The hydraulic presses leak, so you're slipping on oil. You have the possibility of being burnt every time that hot dye hits that wet felt. You're just engulfed in a cloud of steam every 40 seconds. The tanks run 24 hours a day. I work 8 hours straight with 2 10-minute breaks and 1 20-minute break for lunch. I find it very difficult to eat my lunch in that length of time. 40 seconds. Granddad was a sailor, flew in off the water. My father was a farmer, and I his only daughter. I took up with a no-good mill-working man from Massachusetts who died from too much whiskey and leaves me these 3 faces.
I could have been, what I could have been. I could have been something